fast at the start anyway. I didn't want to go too nuts on every single NPC.
It's fun.
Link is in Discord.
Insta-click.
Oh, it's in general.
Insta-click.
Oh, that's fun. What text is this? Excuse me. Tell me what font you are.
It's like Papyrus, but if it was classy.
Yeah.
Sinzel.
Ooh.
I see a frog and a ferret and a dingo.
What?
And an ifrit.
Oh,
What?
on the
And a
right.
cormorant.
One of these things. Oh, there's a cormorant, you guys.
Oh, who's the cormorant?
It's symbolism.
Oh, I want to know who is.
There's also a pizza cat.
Hey, the best one.
I don't even know who I
Who's
am.
what?
in
Who
that.
am I?
Anonymous pizza cat.
I want to know who I am.
I don't know.
Okay, so I see a cormorant, a dingo, a ferret, a frog, an ifrit, and a rabbit. So, process of elimination.
Rare.
It will
Wait.
forever remain a mystery.
I see all of those as well.
Yeah, I see everyone.
I think it's the same for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Ooh. Disappointing.
Yeah.
I think they just go
Oh.
through a certain list of what's what.
All right, I'm just sitting on the epilogue part, so.
Oh man, Jeff, you put dates in and everything. This is now, it's like my history papers, which I never put dates in.
Hi.
Yeah, there was that war that happened between sometime and now. I don't
The
know.
one in the late 1800s.
Yeah, that one.
That's good enough.
The one that happened in the past.
So I'm just gonna do this once because I'm very curious. I'm going to request edit access.
What?
Does it tell you which one sent you a request?
It goes into my. I don't even see the request.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Kick us off, Jeff.
Yes, please.
What music?
Oh, it says Lynn asked for.
Ah.
Boo.
Oh, not so anonymous now.
Oh well. I don't want to be an anonymous thing. I want to be a thing.
First up is Captain Ward and Marie. This is going to get along. The two lifelong pirates never did manage to settle down, taking to the sea together long into old age. Captain Ward ultimately sailed into the great unknown in 1923, and Marie would follow only a week later.
No. That's sweet.
I don't even really know them that much, and already my heart.
They're the first.
They died the way they lived.
I mean, I know them, but like, I didn't spend a lot of time with them.
No, but I mean, because they're the first people we met, it's like, oh, it's impact.
I never met them.
Opening with it.
She was a badass. I liked her. She hated us.
As most female first mates do.
It's true.
She was my defense against you guys instantly mutinying and taking over the ship. If you had tried that, she would have broken you.
I
By the
would
way,
have laughed so hard to see Salvador get broken by her.
I'm looking forward so much to the deep lore reveals that are going to come out like that.
Okay, next is Dude.
Reginald Weatherby IV. The Weatherby Trading Company would ultimately declare bankruptcy in 1910, and its assets sold off to other upcoming corporations. This was hardly concerning to Reginald by this point, however.
Sure.
He had firmly transitioned into a comfortable political life, and as one of the free captains of the Commonwealth, his economic leadership led the islands to prosperity for decades to come.
Yeah, that's fun. That's cool. Salvador and Indria. The unlikely couple of accidental parents, to everyone's surprise, seem to have made things work out. Salvador's small trade business kept his family happy and fed, and Andrea could take on jobs of a less erotic behavior. 3 more children would follow the first.
Oh my
Aw.
god, there's a whole passel of them.
Oh
Oh
god.
wow.
So many Salvadors.
Link
Manslaughter's
established.
Tail
Mic on.
Inn still serves the finest drinks and has the softest beds in Amanester to this very day. Now under the ownership of Amelie's daughter, the secret meeting room in the basement is a national landmark occasionally open for historical mining tourists.
Oh my god!
I'm so proud of her.
The secret room where we tortured that person one time.
And over here you can see the bloodstains.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't. Oh. Okay. What's how do you say it? Cormoran? It's just Cormoran?
Yeah,
Cormoran.
Cormoran.
Yeah.
The pregnant cat Rook brought off the streets and Amanester vanished from history after the capture of the Golden Run during the invasion of Nasserad, or so it had seemed, until a recent discovery of a logbook and photographs. Cormoran and her kittens were adopted by a captain of a Valuan troop transport. According to the log, Cormoran served as a mouser with distinction, beloved by the crew, until she passed away of old age in 1896. She was buried at sea by Valuan sailors with all honors of a crewman. Her descendants still serve in vessels around the world.
All
Oh
right.
my god.
Look at the photo.
It's
It's
all over.
Tama!
Um, Reggie, the Nothic that brewed potions for the cult of dead men and the crew of the Bone Baby disappeared from records. Still, potion bottles marked with the emblem of a single eye have continued to turn up across the world, hinting that the creature is still at work to this day.
Mm.
Yay, Reggie!
Sequel, next gen, more Reggie.
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah!
Nothics are frightening, but Reggie's cool.
Reggie's cool.
I
Yeah,
wanted to play
Reggie's
him for that
cool.
one stand-in so bad.
I have such anxiety that I'm like, do I even remember how to say Zhang Fei's name? That's his name, right?
That's right.
You got it.
Okay, Mad Wizard Zhang Fei. The mysterious rogue wizard died in 1900. In accordance with his last will and testament, all the ancient and arcane magical items in his possession were bequeathed to anyone but Bruno
Oh my god!
Fuck you too, dude!
That's somehow incredibly fitting.
Oh my god.
Okay, the challenge here is I have to do. Okay. Meow Stash. The unattached familiar served as
Don't stop.
That lasted 5 seconds.
Keep going.
Served the causes of the Circle Tower faithfully for another decade before his physical form finally passed on. An inventive rumor has Meowstache now working alongside Captain Taunin in the multiverse. But this is likely little more than the work of imaginative bards.
Oh my god.
I can't do that voice, and that's my best replication of it.
I am not doing my epilogue character voice. I'm
No,
sorry.
no.
It's a history book.
Yeah.
Listen, I
Done
thought it
by
would be
bards
funny.
who are all assholes.
Aaron, the muscular merfolk disappeared into the Silver Sea in 1893. This is not considered especially worrying, however, as the depths of the ocean contain many portals to the elemental plane of water.
Oh shit.
Friends and family have apparently just assumed he will turn up again in a few years with new and exciting goods to trade.
Oh man.
Hmm.
He's with Talon, you guys! He made it!
Oh my gosh, abs!
Jesus Christ, he got the nickname.
Munir ultimately grew tired of hoarding his treasures and took on a more philanthropic attitude in his later years. A wide variety of scholarships ensured generations of archaeologists to come, and a sprawling museum he had built in Nasrid remains the largest public collection of historical artifacts in the world. According to him, however, Munir's proudest accomplishment was fixing up a dilapidated library in Maramba. He would only say, "It put a smile on."
Oh. You'll never get any. That's okay.
King Karg. The coming years would be difficult for Ixataka, as various ocean crosser nations would fight the locals and each other for the untapped resources of the land. Karg, the slave who became king, was a heroic figure of the time, and his resistance is remembered as an inspiration for Balamians today. Still, many feel he made a poor diplomat and relied heavily on direct action. One of the many what-ifs lay historians like to dwell on is the survival of the more statesmanlike Wind Brings Snow and what he could have done in a post-Valuan era.
Well,
Rip.
Harsh, yeah.
Oh, dang.
The Dark Man murders. The series of murders that took place in Leilston in the summer of 1889 remain unsolved to this day, much to the delight of many a horror author and bard. Though some sailors among the Bone Bebe's crew have rumored that Lunoche was somehow involved with the case, the tiefling herself has remained silent on this matter.
Yeah.
I should
Renard.
just talk in that voice today
Yeah.
because that was much easier than my normal voice of talking. Ow, my head.
Oh god, fly, shit. With her powers faded, Renard remained no less interested in the written word. She would go on to pen a highly exaggerated account of the crew's adventure, punctuated with explicit sexual scenes. Her works were banned in several nations, though remained popular in underground markets.
I'm so proud of her.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my girl's killing it.
Okay, Magus.
Dark Jack. Another character in this tale that has a little information to go on, posts the events of Solstice. Dark Jack seems to have slipped back into the shadows, never to be heard from again. At least, as far as Noche will admit.
who knows what happened?
I know.
Lightbringer. Lightbringer did not survive the assault on the Hydra. The pirate hunter died holding one of the connecting bridges from a rebel counterattack. Her body was found surrounded by the corpses of over 20 Valuan Marines, a heroic last stand that saved the central assault from collapse. She was taken back to her homeland and buried with all honors.
Wow.
Dang.
Didn't think I'd get emotional about her.
Yeah. Shit.
How do you pronounce that name?
Aoife.
Aoife? Yeah, okay. Aoife O'Connor. Though Head Chopper, a high seas musical, received negative reviews and even boycotts from critics, it was a crowd favorite for many years and made Aoife a moderately rich woman. Later, she invested this wealth in the burgeoning motion picture business. She made her real mark as a producer and director of cinema. Her works include a popular episodic adventure series called Captain Tana's Adventures in Elseworlds, but it was Aoife's return to pirate tales in the epic series Voyages of the Golden Run, filmed aboard the real ship that instilled her place in movie history.
You keep getting ones with mentions of Townland in it. It's
I
hilarious.
know, it's so great.
How does this work?
I planned this out perfectly.
That's totally it. It's not random chance at all.
I believe it.
Shogun Gorguyo. Following the death of Shogun Imube in 1900, the governing of Yafutoma fell to his wayward son. Despite apprehensions the daimyo carried of his rebellious child, Gorguyo proved a skilled leader. He led a campaign to rapidly modernize the isolated nation and made a point to legalize marrying his drow wife.
Yeah.
Yaputoma's expansion, however, would lead to new conflicts, but that is outside the purview of this historian.
Silk Fox. The Princess Sun Lian, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, returned home, making a model of Jade Empire nobility for the remainder of her days. Silk Fox, however, was a continuing adversary for those who sought to take advantage of the Empire's decline.
Good on you. The Cult of the Drowned Men. The cult's activities in the late 19th century were broken by the actions of the crew, and the drowned men were driven underground. That's weird. Still, their rotten corpse survived in the lands of the Purple Moon, and some 40 years later, ships began to disappear again. Ah, those motherfuckers!
God damn it.
Fuck. Guys, we gotta get back together. Trying to put them down.
The band is back!
Oh god.
I see
And
one of
it's
the
just
tables
like,
that hated
it's
you.
just like when a band is on tour, but everyone's seniors, like, half of us are on machines and one of us is in a wheelchair.
Wow. Gilder the Unfettered. Gilder eventually left that. That's totally how that word is spelled there. God. Gilder eventually felt that the adventures he could find in Arcadia had come to an end. An older but no less youthful man, he made his way into the old world portal to discover new realms beyond. Today, he is viewed as something of a minor deity of gamblers and those seeking luck.
Oh my gosh.
I know who.
Shit.
Through the void?
This
Wait,
Ooh.
Which portal?
One that we never found.
Sequel bait.
this is where, by the way, you'll notice that Google Docs turned against me and there's just a huge blank spot. I couldn't fix that. I'm sorry. It gets
Gilder demands that much space.
yeah.
Yeah.
It will
Frankly,
get
I'm
worse
shocked he
towards
didn't
the
have
end.
top billing.
It's not Google Docs. It's just how Gilder be.
Jeff, did Gilder turn into like an Eberron deity or something?
That's a
Oh my
fucking
god, he's the
deal.
traveler.
No.
We found him.
That'd be kind of amazing. We'll find out later. We'll find out.
I've been
Um,
worshiping Gilder this entire time.
How do you say her last name again?
Dubois.
Dubois?
Okay, so Clara Dubois continues to stalk Gilder throughout the multiverse. Perhaps one day she will yet find true love. Maybe. Hopefully for all of our sakes.
She becomes a deity of unrequited love.
Oh.
That's depressing. It's depressing. I can't. I'm done.
You're fine.
I know the
Fine.
location is gonna be for the
Dodger.
Dodger Roger. Dodger Roger escaped in the chaos during the final attack on the Hydra, disappearing aboard a one-man midget submarine. His whereabouts remain unknown to this day.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ. Wait, where was
Jeff, you had too
Dodger
much
Roger
fun.
before this?
We don't know. He
We
just
don't know
shows
where
up
he came
sometime.
Oh,
I
no.
imagine like he's that character in the background of a couple episodes just there twirling a mustache. But it's just
Yeah.
you have to like pause the episode on a certain frame.
It would.
Yeah,
It's
man,
like
it's Easter
Dr.
egg.
Jekyll. Sorry. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I said that reverse, but whatever.
Emperor Enrique. Enrique returned to his homeland and began an era of reconstruction following the Reigns of Destruction. He is remembered as a more caring leader who pulled his nation back from the brink of destruction and as the first proper nation to recognize the Commonwealth of Cortagata.
Aw.
Aww.
Hey.
Good on you, mate.
Give me a moment. My body's not agreeing with me for a moment.
Oh, I thought it was because it was Beleza.
It's Blaze, I need to puke for a second.
Oh my
excuse me,
god.
I see
You
that
have
face.
term
I just need to
person,
go
so you are
retch.
no longer in control of your faculties. So yeah, you know, your body not behaving is completely normal.
I'm just eating a lot of watermelon. Beleza, this author wishes to express her frustration at tracking down any information regarding the Valuan Spymaster. There are exceedingly few written records of Beleza, likely at her bidding. Following the Battle of Soltis, Beleza disappears entirely.
Back to hell where she belongs.
And
Only hope.
Get off of my plane.
Was that an Air Force One reference?
No, it was the song. Hey, you get off of my cloud, but she's from a different plane.
No, I'm going with Air Force One.
Okay.
Miguel. As with others who sided with Galcian's rebels and lived to tell the tale, Adversity's brother was sentenced to prison time. However, the manpower couldn't be wasted during the reconstruction. Serving time as hard labor, Miguel and the rebels formed the backbone to rebuild Valois. This time was... Blah, blah. I'm already getting tongue-tied. This time was made much more comfortable thanks to the mail correspondence he was able to have with his lost brother. Later released, Miguel settled into a much more quiet life as a teacher at the prominent magic school.
He did his time.
Listen, he's an honorable man.
All right, now don't do it again.
Oh my god, no. Kurt.
This one.
Packard.
Her contact on the Bone Baby complete. Oh my god. Let me start over. How do I say that first name? I'm sorry.
Wilhelmina.
Thank you. Her contract on the Bone Baby complete. Okay. Wilhelmina Packard left without a word and signed on a different expedition seeking a lost city underwater. Later asked questions to comment on her time with Captain Sarian Abers. She replied, "Who?"
Accurate.
Oh god.
This was not a good one for me. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Nothing wrong. You're fine.
Marco. The Ciasan pickpocket took to sailing life very well and could not return to his home before sailing the seven seas and witnessing the six moons with his own eyes. In his later years, he would become an admiral of the new Valois Navy.
Oh, wow.
I'm so proud of him.
Oh, I'm so proud.
Dadu.
Yay.
Dadu returned home to Lilston, where he promptly had the Dark Man murder's friend on him. Atlas saved him from 37 consecutive life. He would join Aoife's film studio, playing music for countless productions. Dodger was also the only one to play himself in the voyages of the Golden Dawn.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
7 consecutive life sentences. Jesus Christ.
I'm so happy for him.
Poor baby.
Oh my god.
I
This
didn't
guy
do
is
it, man.
one lucky man.
I was
I'm too
already in
beautiful
jail
for
when you
prison.
guys had those things going on. Come on, you can't believe me.
Link established. Mic on.
Sanvi. I don't know how to say that word.
Barat.
Okay, the Bharati storm sorcerer largely vanishes from history after her time aboard the Bone Baby, and her lack of a last name makes tracking her motions difficult. Some evidence remains that she opened a trading company, but it went bankrupt in 1905.
I'm sure she's doing fine.
Yeah, I'm
She's
like, I'm
scrappy.
sure she's just somewhere.
Doc and Maria. Doc, the ship's doctor who remains quite a mystery, spent his remaining years as a traveling doctor, serving communities too small to keep a permanent physician. By some estimates, he treated over 10,000 sick and wounded during his career and delivered 200 babies.
Aww.
What if Doc is actually some kind of god?
Let's do it.
Like he was like a cleric, you know?
No, with that kind
Not
of
surprised.
with that kind of record saving people, probably a god of like health or something.
Oh, Piastel. Piastel's fate is mysterious, but can be deduced readily. As a revenant lasts only a year, the hunter inevitably ran out of her remaining time. Where and when she returned to death will likely forever be a mystery, but the much greater curiosity is, did she ever reunite with her long-lost sister? Speaking with the aged Maria, she did recall meeting with a blue-haired stranger who spoke as though she knew her, an apparently tearful conversation, though Maria remained silent on what was said.
Aww.
I keep getting ones that I'm like breaking up halfway through.
Oh shit.
Raphael. Though he may have surrendered peacefully, as the highest-ranking survivor of the rebellion, Raphael would still have to stand trial for his crimes. In the end, thanks to some persuasion, Enrique was able to spare him the death sentence. Locked away in the Grand Fortress, Raphael was treated better than most prisoners, though he refused visitors and letters for quite some time. A daily letter from Flissa finally broke him down after several years. The two have kept in close contact, though the contents of these personal letters remain secret. Through them, however, he was convinced to start responding to Noche's letters. It took a great many years of conversation and discussion, but by the time he was eligible for parole, Raphael joined Noche in the Oath of Redemption.
Oh,
The Cormorant. The vessel donated by the Weatherbees sailed the seas for many years, but time soon took its soul. The Cormorant was decommissioned and broken down in 1919. In 1944, the ship's bell was found in a Nasrad antique store and now rings the last call at Manticore's tail.
The Golden Run.
Ship!
That's the normal reaction.
Hey, the ships are more important characters than any of us.
I mean, without them, we'd go nowhere.
Yep.
I love our ships!
The Golden Run. Still owned by Oifa... Blah, damn it! Ife, correct?
Aoife.
Still owned by Aoife O'Connor, the Golden Run is kept in sailing condition. It is used as a museum ship, but also as a set in a wide variety of films.
The Bone
And we
Baby.
stole it from a dude.
The dreadnought turned pirate flagship served with the Commonwealth until 1910. Now considered outdated, there were talks to return the ship to Valoa as a symbolic gesture. However, a storm in 1911 sank the vessel in a cove outside of Amenesser. Left in the shallow water along a tropic beach, the Bone Baby is a popular tourist destination.
Oh god.
That sounds about right.
Just filled with blue-footed boobies.
Dahlia's just taking up residence.
Does
No,
it
he's somewhere else.
does it still have the cannon?
Oh, yay!
We got to the end faster than I thought.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I was thinking it would be a lot longer. For
Yeah, I was worried that would go.
Hold on, I
Was
need
that
to
in the main section?
take a drink.
Yeah, she's in the main section.
Okay.
I'm gonna refill mine.
I'm scared to scroll down at all because I'm scared to look at anything.
Me too.
Yeah, if
I
anybody wants
see
to
a
take a
name.
break, this is the time.
I see a
I'm gonna
name.
go get my coffee then.
BRB.
I need my coffee.
All right.
It's downstairs in the fridge. Oh god. Why is my hair wet? Gross.
70 proof. I'll take it.
Okay, you can look at fire a little bit more than Sparks.
Crown Royal apple.
Just a little bit,
Just
but
a
no
little-
touching.
Not touch.
You got to social distance with the fire, okay?
No, you're gonna have to cancel your appointment with Calcifer. Sorry. I know he's super cool and all.
I don't like Billy Crystal that much.
What did you say?
Billy Crystal was the voice of Calcifer.
Oh. I would know that. I only watched it in Japanese. And I read the book more than I watched the movie.
Book's better.
It is! It actually explains what the hell is going on.
Well, that's half the fun.
The movie has pretty music and it's prettily drawn, but it seriously gives you no information as to what anything is about. And I can't find the copy of the book that I want. I want the edition that has, like, the best cover. Which is just, like, a giant Calcifer on the front, just like... I have coffee now. Maybe headache will go away with coffee.
Link established. Mic on.
I'm totally not drinking a lot of my cream alcohol. What are you talking about?
Nothing. I'm sitting here silently.
Bottoms up, bitches.
It'd be
Glug,
like
glug.
that.
We go with Spin Me Right Around. The new accordion song playing.
I'm back. Where are we
Not
at?
getting anything. I have my thing turned on, but it's not.
Yeah, wait, there's accordion songs? Oh, there it
Maybe
is.
try
Yeah, okay.
reloading.
Oh, is it on
Afraid
Yeah,
to reload.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've been sitting here in silence, wondering when the music was going to start.
I've been
Oh, there's
listening
been
to
music playing this entire time.
I'm so sad now.
I'm sorry.
We'll have a silly
It was the accordion Wind Waker for the first bit. I'm sorry.
Okay. I can listen to it any fucking time.
We'll have the silly accordion music for when it really matters, which is the main character.
Yeah.
Epilogues.
I may not be able to because it's currently not loading anything for me.
Did you try reloading?
Yes, my
Oh.
computer is being a bork right now.
No.
I also can't send anything in the Discord chat.
Uh-oh. Can you still see the epilogues?
Yeah. If I don't exit out of it, I should be fine.
I'm waiting until
Unless-
we get our first reader to scroll down to Gloria. I know it's Gloria next, but I don't know anything beyond that.
Yeah.
But I'm not first.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
much.
If we're all ready, do you want to... Erica?
Yeah, sure. I didn't know Gloria was first. Okay. Gloria Bellamy. Despite several expeditions to find Anaphia, is that the name of the place?
Yeah.
To rescue the crew's grandmother, no one could find any trace of a lost city or the golems that guarded it. Gloria remains missing, another secret that the land of the Purple Moon will keep for a little longer, at least.
Real quick, I want to point out too, like I said, Google Doc turned against me, so sometimes in the middle of these epilogues, there'll just be a page break and there's a line. I can't get rid of it.
It's okay.
So if you're reading
yeah.
through your own, just make sure you're stopped on the right mark. Second up is Guppy.
Yeah, Guppy. In the immediate aftermath of Solstice's return to the depths of the sea, Gabriella Bonmuir, better known to her contemporaries as Guppy, made it her first order of business to launch a salvage dive down to the floor of the Silver Sea to recover the Valoan machines of war that had been abandoned there. After returning the small fleet of what she referred to as undersea moors to the surface, Guppy spent her next months diligently refitting them to be more suited to the necessary work there was still to be done all across the ruined nation of Valua. With this task complete, she set off across the country overland, accompanying the noblewoman Mev in offering their engineering expertise to the country's reconstruction effort. Of arguably even greater impact were the contributions of her construction crustaceans, now a familiar sight the world around. Their earliest prototypes were the aforementioned undersea moors, of which she left one in every major city across the continent, in the hands of well, if hastily trained apprentices, of course. To this day, these undersea moors and their many increasingly advanced derivatives are a mainstay of virtually all large-scale building operations, holding true to Guppy's oft-repeated assurance that a construction crustacean can carry the world on its back. After Valua's recovery, Guppy returned to the sea, adjusting her focus toward building up her home to the same degree that she'd built up the world above. Though she was known to periodically re-emerge to look in on her creations and to add her voice from time to time in defense of oceanic environmental protection, she always remained tight-lipped on the subject of merfolk technological advancement. It is still unknown to this day whether an advanced underwater metropolis erected by her hands and her undersea moor's claws might exist somewhere at the bottom of the Golden Sea.
This is what Packard went to look for.
I was laughing so hard at that. I was like, oh my god.
Packard was like, Guppy's doing something down there.
He's down there.
This is that hidden epilogue where Packard found out and Guppy had to kill her.
This is that after credits scene.
Oh god, no.
Dahlia.
Shit. I went all the way to the top of the document.
That was a thing.
There it is. Okay. Sources on Dahlia's whereabouts in the immediate years following what became known as Galcian's rebellion are scarce. While he had helped in the fight, he had never taken credit for his doings and let himself slip into obscurity as he didn't need the recognition. Most agreed that he left with Hattori on the Unyo shortly after the incident. Reappearing after some time as Dahlia Saito, reports state that he visited Ixutaka and toured the country, looking for friends among the Druid clans there. Wow, I didn't check that one. Though his travels, or through his travels, he found other druids interested in helping his idea of unifying the travel of the known cities. The growing circle created a hybrid tree that grew tall and strong as a camphor with willow branches supporting delicate blooms similar to wisteria and silver leaves. The order in which these trees began to show up outside of major cities is unclear, but the understanding was that they seemed to grow overnight after the Unyo had come to port, a small druid circle appearing along with the stunning trees. The keepers of the trees asked little for their travel services they provided, just a few manufactured goods from the city once in a while. More often, it was them that sold their excess produce grown in gardens that sprung up around the trees to the cities. They had discerning taste and clientele in that they would not allow travel if they believed it was to harm others. Woe to the villain that tried to force their services, typically ending up outside the local jail wrapped in a variety of unpleasant plants. Repeat offenders have not been recorded. After the establishment of the network, Dahlia Saito slipped back into the quiet travels with his husband, finding his true name and able to pursue his greatest passion with the person closest to his heart. If one is lucky enough to find his grove, though extremely difficult, it is said that you can find the gentle elf still tending his gardens beneath the branches of a grand wisteria tree.
All right. Gwenor. Easily the biggest mystery of the crew, before the Rains of Destruction forced Gwenor's involvement with the others, and immediately afterwards, there are no records to confirm the druid even existed. Another odd legend, like their sage companion? Question mark.
Gwenor was a druid?
I think she was a ranger, but
Oh, I thought she was a druid. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Hey,
Funnier, the historians don't know.
druid ranger? I don't know.
Jeff is the leading druid.
Are
In
you
our mind,
actually
it's still a
editing it?
question. Yeah, he's editing
No,
it.
no, you can't prove that.
What?
Ryan, delete the recording.
The recording stays.
We are fucking nuts.
This is my general state of being. I'm fine with that.
Oh, friends now? Oh, okay, friend.
Friend time.
Friend to the Lonesome. Following the narrowly averted catastrophe in the Silver Sea, Friend to the Lonesome of Clan Moonseeker rejoined the crew of the Bone Bebe for one last journey. Their well-intentioned but ultimately unsuccessful expedition back into the ice of the Purple Continent in search of former captain and Ixutacan folk hero Gloria Bellamy. In preparation for the conflict, they expected to find their Friend to the Lonesome and fellow blood hunter and lowercase f friend Adversity, mutually appealed to their respective blood hunter orders to come together in unprecedented union against the unknown threat. Though no confrontation ever occurred, the renewed contact between previously estranged blood hunter orders marked the start of improved communication between them and a reassessment of their priorities. Leaving behind their days of stalking errant mages, many of whom had fought bravely during Galcian's rebellion against the institutionalized wizards of the Valuan Arcanist Regiment, they chose to move forward instead by placing greater emphasis on hunting aberrations in preparation for the day the thing beneath the ice might reappear. In an effort to facilitate their growth in this direction, Friend to the Lonesome returned to their homeland of Ixutaka, and with the blessing of their sisters, Little Paw and Many Stars, new twin matriarchs of Clan Moonseeker, helped to establish a permanent blood hunter haven there, where novices could undergo their rigorous training in the soothing tranquility of the deep jungle. Though occasionally still venturing out beyond the green moon's glow when an inquisition or a celebration with old companions required it, after spending more than a mere fleeting span of time there to oversee the first steps of the fledgling haven, they found themselves reluctant to once again leave the nostalgic embrace of their homeland behind. Thus, from this point forward, Friend to the Lonesome remained primarily in Ixataka, committing the rest of their life to guiding initiate blood hunters through their earliest trials, offering a sympathetic ear to their anguish, teaching them to calm the fires that the rites they undertook had kindled within them, and tempering their zealotry with Clan Moonseeker's teachings. Their legacy lives on in the measured wisdom of the blood hunters that precede them, and on the cover of Arcadia's first Common to Ixatacan dictionary, which they authored.
Aww.
Hey.
Aw, crazy.
Captain Talman.
Oh
Alright.
my god.
I am now a little tipsy, so this might be a little weird.
Perfect.
Various scholars and multiversal theorists have attempted to discover just where the Circle Tower's base of operations in Bixby finally ended up, though these efforts were unsuccessful. A few of them, however, managed to find the former captain of the Cormorant and former second most wanted, Talnan. The pirate and his bird companion ended up in the technological marvel of Eberron, founding his own little mage tower filled with far too much fire to be safe. This seems to be the dismay of various other prominent individuals, as Talnan's power only increased after his stay in the Circle Tower. Some of his favorite pastimes seem to include using sending to annoy various important individuals, using suggestion to get into places he probably definitely shouldn't be, and calling firestorms down on raiders, bandits, and other annoying pests who venture near his tower. Understandably, the multiversal travelers decided they probably shouldn't bring him back, as he seemed to be having too much fun.
Oh my god, are we gonna meet Talon if we ever run an Emerald game?
Oh my god.
Or more likely, he seems way too dangerous to bring back.
So, I have a question for all other DMs who are running games. Are we just gonna have random Talon cameos? And if not, we should.
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, we know that he's going to every other place that there could
He's out
possibly be. He's out there somewhere.
I highly recommend this.
I might have had something written.
It's
I can't
Do it. Do it. Everything is canon.
It's Talman and Dodger Roger chasing each other.
Across time and space! Oh my god. That's amazing.
It's like that one character from Critical Role who stole, the hand thing.
Oh, that guy.
And he just, appeared in a bunch of other games.
Is it just me, or is the idea of the evil universe version of the most mundane, unimportant character being an overarching villain brilliant?
I love it.
It's pretty good.
Not that we actually ever see him do anything evil, it's just assumed.
It just looks like it, right?
Just you get that feeling around him.
Even Atlas is like, dude, that guy's clearly evil.
Yo, even we won't protect that.
Jesus Christ.
Bishop.
Despite their repeated past failures, Bishop and Sanvi tried to make things work again. This would be the last time Bishop was reported lost at sea in 1891. Nobody can prove it was Sanvi, but it's just assumed.
Oh no.
That's about right.
Bishop, no!
Sanvi is Carol Baskin.
Dangerous ones.
That was one of the first ones that I had to write. Anyone that, if you guys didn't like the epilogue that I came up with you, feel free, we'll change it at some point later.
Oh my god.
That's really funny though.
I mean, maybe he's with Aaron.
Rook. Rook Brouillard became the most wanted pirate in the world, known for attacking more famous pirates, but constantly letting go his friends and allies, quote-unquote. Slippery and lucky to the day he died, Rook had claimed the title Pirate King and challenged anyone to defy him, until finally passing away in his home in Leones, claiming he must have been the most famous halfling in the world for a time.
Fuck.
Rook's Rook succeeded in his motivation of becoming the kind of pirate that he wanted his brothers and sisters to be able to read stories about and feel good
I'm
about.
so happy for him.
I think the country name is spelled wrong.
Leons?
Leon,
Maybe,
I think that's
but-
right.
Oh, it's a Y.
Oh, you're right.
Because that fancy French.
Yeah, I said I think, but I really knew.
We appreciate your humility.
I
Hattori.
adore you.
Yeah, Hattori. In the aftermath of Galcian's rebellion, the previously isolated and enigmatic sovereignty of Yafutoma was thrust into the center spotlight of the world stage. Their invaluable support in that impossible mission earned them the respect and gratitude of all of Arcadia, and some of that respect and gratitude was reflected onto Hattori Saito, a samurai of their spider clan attributed with having been the first and fiercest champion to demand the nation's navy lend their reinforcement to the cause. Certainly in no small part because of the campaign's success and the ensuing benefits which Yafutoma saw to come of their involvement, Hattori was reappointed to captaincy of his former vessel, the Unyo, shortly after. In the years that followed, Hattori led his ship on countless diplomatic voyages back and forth between the lands of Yafutoma, their nearest neighbors Ixataka, and their earliest allies, the Commonwealth of Cortegada. His work in helping establish formal lines of communication between these countries lay the foundation for all of Yafutoma's international relations to follow. Hattori and Dahlia were wed on the grounds of Hattori's personal estate, set upon the cliffs on the western coast of the island of Totorishima, overlooking the Dark Rift. Soon after, Hattori stepped back from his not technically official ambassadorial role within the Yafutoman Navy, leaving the task of maintaining the alliances he'd initiated to those much better suited to the particulars of politics and negotiation than he. Instead, taking full advantage of the leniency and freedom that his acts of heroism had accorded him, he devoted himself solely to transporting his husband all across Arcadia, wherever his druidic calling led him. Together they embarked on many voyages in pursuit of Dahlia's endeavor to bring the world closer still through earthly magics. And when this task was done, both set their sights and their bow toward the Dark Rift. In time, they would come to act as guides to other explorers who wished to see and study its depths without succumbing to its dangers. Given their elven lifespans, it's likely that they sail there still.
Oh.
Aww.
Also, I did the math, guys. Dahlia can live to be 7,000.
Oh!
Jesus Christ.
In a
Dahlia
couple
will-
more levels, he would be able to live to 7,000.
Dahlia
One
will
more time
witness
for
the
old
heat death
time's
of the
sake.
universe.
Druids are what?
Huh?
One more time for old time's sake. Druids are what?
Overpowered.
Broken gods.
He stopped being broken. He found a name.
And a husband.
Oh.
Yep, that's how he found a name.
No.
Dahlia Saito.
Sage.
Palo Alfalfa Champe or Sage marks an interesting aspect of the tale. Some manner of spirit that guided the crew into the maw of Tardis. Though viewed as some exaggeration or misinterpretation of the facts, a small grave outside of Lots is visited by crew members to this day.
We hallucinated.
God damn it.
Hydration.
Castalia spiked our drinks.
Yeah, the hallucinations definitely account for the multiple bruises that a bunch of corpses now have.
It's one
Maybe
too many.
Back to
Sage
back.
was the love potion the whole time.
God.
Back to back for me, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, sorry, I just got these kind of like the order I got them, and then slapped the others in
All
there.
right. Oh.
Oh man.
With the failure of the journey to the ice shelf following their victory, Gorm dedicated himself to what he felt was his unfinished business. In the southern mountain ranges of the Jade Empire, Gorm returned Dragonfeller to its rightful heirs, and with his knowledge of the hidden passages and routes of the Ale-Blood territory, he was able to lead an army filled with the ranks of every enemy his family had cultivated in their 100 years of war right to his ancestral home. While the battle raged on, he caused the collapse of the great underground catacombs and mines that lay beneath it, and as quakes rocked through the Empire, the Ale-Blood fortresses and havens were brought to ruin. Driving his family out and claiming the remnants of the underground for himself, they became his new sanctum to protect. For the next 200 years he remained there, only venturing out to see those few he truly considered his friends in their brief reunions until his final farewells. In the subterranean labyrinths of the Ailblood estate, Gorm sealed himself away, and though he was never seen again, it is said that explorers finding themselves lost in these tombs would often be led to the exit by a strange donkey dressed in robes.
There's so much to process in all of that.
That was like really Conan, and it was amazing.
Monty.
Give me a second. After the failed expedition to recover Gloria Bellamy, Monty Allen III delivered the news to his mother, Anna Allen, and some kind of falling out occurs. Local papers at the time reported him as having this to say about it. My grandmother was a hero who sacrificed everything for me. Mummy, on the other hand, is a petty twat. He was...
Excuse me.
He was officially disinherited then and took on the Bellamy name, hoping it would perhaps make his grandmother proud wherever she might be.
Is that a citation?
Footnote, it possibly didn't escape Mr. Bellamy's notice that a whole continent possessed a moniker derived from this name and thus might be a most opportune choice. But he was a person of some renown in the world now, Cortagata especially, and when Serephina approached him with her new adventuring league, he quickly jumped on board. Of course, he rarely went out on the expeditions himself, content to let others do the work and he reaped the benefits from relative safety, unless they promised to provide information on the two great questions he spent the rest of his life pursuing. These questions being the whereabouts of one Gloria Bellamy and digging into the origins of his genetic ancestry.
Oh man, Erica, you're my hero.
Why?
I was gonna put in citations, but then I was like, nah, fuck that.
Is now one thing is that the right artwork?
Well,
Can I put up that other artwork?
sure. I forgot that I didn't think about that there'd be pictures in this. So like I had updated my Roll20 art with the mustache if people wanted to look at it.
Yes.
Oh,
I had that on hand. I'm putting it up in the Discord. It's
Wait,
just a slow
where
load.
is it?
Ryan, check Discord.
It's 1/8 loaded. It's loading.
Oh, man.
But it'll pop up in a minute.
Oh my
I
god,
just
it's
want to-
amazing.
Yeah, that's the other thing he did.
Load, damn you!
we should just go on.
Mustache first. Mustache.
All right, it's ready
It's just a quick mustache.
in all its
break.
glory.
It's a much needed mustache break. Oh my god, my heart.
I love him.
Yeah, they
adorable.
kind of owns that mustache.
I can't
Look
find.
at my phone. Where's
I
my
can't
phone?
find Monty on the. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong section. There he is.
Ryan,
Yeah?
it's in the Discord.
I know, but I want to show it on the recording.
Oh.
I have the Discord up on
I
my
love
second
it.
monitor.
Oh my god, that's the best mustache ever.
I got it though.
I had to look on my phone because my Discord's being a poop and won't load things. Except for images of poop.
Next up is the combined entry for Adversity and Mev.
Oh boy.
Magnus,
This
did you
is
want to
unreal.
take this? Because I don't think you're going to be able to.
We figured it out.
Oh,
Between
please.
ourselves. Yeah. I'm doing the first two, Magnus is doing the second two. And the last one. After the final battle, Mev and Adversity accompanied their crew to the land of the Purple Moon to search for Gloria, though were disheartened as the rest when they failed to find her. Once everyone began parting ways from this massive undertaking of a journey, the duo headed to Valua, Mev to offer his services to Emperor Enrique along with Adversity, who exchanged letters with his brother Miguel as he served his sentence, performing heavy labor. Mev served as an ambassador to the other countries under the noble family's name, attempting to foster deep connections between countries to see that this never happened again. She visited her brother, Jose, often, since the rest of her family passed during the bombing of Valua.
During their excursions to other countries, Adversity and Mev offered their service to those in need, partially out of kindness, partially to help reforge Valoa's reputation. Even today, some songs have a certain magical quality, similar to her magical flute, which is passed down within the family to this day. Adversity's blood hunter practices were useful during their excursions, carving foes apart in the chaos following the collapse of the Sylvite Tower. His rapier, elegant and deadly, is passed down in the family as well, still as sharp as it was all those years ago. Every year, however, they were sure to set aside days to visit their friends in the fort they all helped create.
I didn't realize that her family dying was canon.
Oh no, yeah. Jeff
Oh my
said
God.
Jeff said there was a roll that he made, which was a 50-50 chance. Only Jose lived.
Oh my god.
Only the like nerd magical wizard dude died.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah, he died. Mev's
Yeesh.
Mev's captain of the guard sister died. Mev's dad died. The only person who lived was the person who was preparing to be the next one in line for the Santiago family.
That is rough.
It was a bloodbath.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Castalia. Sparks?
Hi. Castalia would return home in a surprisingly peaceful manner, since her arrest warrant was destroyed along with the entire police station during the Reigns of Destruction. From this point, however, there are many conflicting reports about what happened to the crew's ranger. The seemingly most credible report involves Castalia taking her own ship and voyaging across the sea under a new name. Another story sees her joining Gilder's expeditions beyond this world. The report this historian prefers, however, has Castalia leaping into an old world teleportation sphere on a drunken bet never to be seen again. Naturally, this is the one with the least amount of supporting evidence, but it does appear the most in character.
There was
Siri.
That's me. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, these get long.
Issues out.
I've edited this down from 3 pages.
Mine was shorter than I thought it was gonna be, so but I'm still sorry.
After a long and fruitless voyage to the land of the Purple Moon, Serephina worked to commission a ship, which, while relinquishing any right to the bone bebe she might have had. While it was built, she spent her time being moral support for her wife. Once the ship was ready, she took it on its maiden voyage around the islands of Arcadia after naming it the Lethan Wanderer. She sailed beneath new colors, a testament to leaving her previous vocation. The flag sported a new yellow compass pointing to a constellation of 7 white stars, the largest of them sporting 7 points. Discarding the black of the pirate, they rested on a field of lapis. Captain Lou Serephina Amatista was sailing again. Her first order of business was gaining a crew, loyal, brave adventurers that would sail with her anywhere. They were procured mainly from her favorite bar in Amnesser. Finding a former crewmate at the bar, she offered him a position of first mate, though later Monty would find a position that suited his taste better within the guild. She established the... You spelled it wrong. You changed it. It's wrong. That was on purpose.
Oh, was it? Okay. It just buzzed up, misspelled on when I put it in. Sorry.
It's a pun. The Gilded Compass. I had to have a pun somewhere. I mean, look at the names of our freaking ships.
That is a good name.
The Gilded Compass began her explorations of the seas. She made numerous voyages, most short jaunts during the first decade or so of the guild's establishment, ever so often accompanied by her strong-willed navigator. Time not spent sailing was spent building her fleet under the guild's sign. As a prolific journal keeper, it isn't difficult to find source material on her many adventures. So many of them give insight into the meanings of oh my god, I can't read. So many of them give insights into the mind of the wanderer. As such, we have excerpts from these journals showing not only her passion for the sea, but also for those she sometimes had to leave behind. A particularly common theme was that of her guiding star, her longing to have her by her side on all of her voyages, and how she cherished her even though oceans separated them at times. Below is a brief detail of her excitement of returning home after a trip without her wife. We have been away for nearly 10 months. Harsh winds caused our course to divert, and unfortunately, without my prize navigator, we are lost for a time. Though now on the horizon I can see the lighthouse, its red light washing over the open waters. Beyond me, Polar, guiding me home to rest. Give me storms and monsters, cutthroats and name seekers. I will fight against all odds because I know that when I return to port, my glorious, brilliant star will be waiting for me, beckoning me back into her loving embrace. Finally, after making only short trips, building her guild, and making a name for herself, Captain Amatista was joined by Noche in a more permanent state. They sailed the world, seeking out forgotten treasures and lost ruins, bringing light to places that had not seen it for centuries. A grand adventure that books are still writing about. That's my reasons. But all stories must eventually end. Not much is known of Captain Amatista's final years, as her journals ended the night she lost her beloved star. Rumors and legends exist that the events of her life after, most believing that she too died the same night, and only her husk remained to wander listlessly through the night. However, the Journal of Dahlia Saito, a common guide through the rift, paints a different story. Though not a full-time journaler, he noted down the last few adventures she embarked upon, each more daring than the last, surviving them all without a scratch. The final mention of the Lethan Wanderer is of her sailing off one night with only a skeleton crew and Captain Amatista at the helm. A thick fog obscured their travel, and by the time it cleared the next day, the ship was lost, never to be seen again. No known destination left with the guild. All that was found was a single bottle floating among the waves. The message within? Seek out the impossible to find, the improbable to exist, the truths to prove. Follow your guiding star into the darkest night, and find that one calling you can never give up. Captain Luz Serephina Amatista of the Lethan Wanderer, and founder of the Gilded Compass.
I'm gonna need a minute.
I would clap, but bad sound.
Oh my god. The fucking red light never ends, does it?
Never. It'll never end.
Fucking dying day. She always refers to it as that in her journal.
Jesus Christ. The one time that someone checks it like, that's a nice blue light. Isn't it red?
Talent is a meme.
Also,
That's a nice red light. Oh no, isn't it blue? Wait, am I colorblind?
it was already too long at the time of writing this, so I didn't include her going back to the reunions, but she would have been doing that.
Oh yeah.
And also, her mom and her aunt survived the Willowan destruction.
Hey!
I'm just glad her aunt survived.
Yeah, I don't care so much about her mom, and you know, she can go sit and eat an egg.
For all I care, a rock could fall out of the sky and land right on her head. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Serephina afterwards puts hand on mom's shoulder. It's better this way.
Oof. Oof.
Dork. So yeah, I apologize again for this being late and long, and for the incredibly high likeliness that I'm not going to get through it.
For all of mine, you'll be fine.
You know, all right. I read Dahlia's to make sure the Hattori's like matched up with it. I didn't read Ceres. I didn't have time, but it still matches.
Oh, good.
So like,
Hey!
That's because I didn't put dates in.
Because it showed up so late, I didn't read Noches, so anything can happen here, and I have no idea.
I should have taken more control. No. For all of the illuminating primary source material Lunoche produced and maintained of her and her fellow crew members' year of travel aboard the Cormorant, the Golden Run, and the Bone Bebe, In the years that followed the incredible conclusion of their story, records of her whereabouts and activities become strikingly sparse by comparison. It is known that she was present on the Bone Bebe acting as navigator during its second voyage into the southern Arctic, and that after its return, she petitioned the Cartographers Guild for recognition of her father, Lu Lishi's contribution to charting the pathway to Anephia between the ice floes that surround the Purple Continent. After that, however, Noche vanished from the public eye and is rarely referenced in surviving records of the period for some time, except where she is included in recountings of the past deeds of her companions. Whatever her ongoing movements and endeavors were within this interim, her footprints on Arcadia were lost in the tide. Until, on the 10-year anniversary of the near catastrophe, amid its usual celebrations, Noche announced to all gathered at Fort Halifax that the growing settlement would henceforth play host to something new. Not far from its thriving trading post and the lively headquarters of the Gilded Compass, Lu Noche founded Atlas, the Academy of Telluric, Lunar, and Arcane Sciences. Anchored on ideals of inclusiveness and transparency, Atlas would provide a counterpoint and alternative to the restrictive Circle Tower, which had for centuries been the only option for students aspiring to pursue an esoteric education, and even then only offered instruction in the art of wizardry. Atlas, by contrast, would open its doors to Arcadians from all walks of life and areas of interest, wizards and others alike. It would serve as an asylum in the truest definition of the word for previously persecuted spellcasters whose magic sprung from unknown or unacceptable sources, a place where they could work toward discovering or divorcing their arcane origins as they liked, or simply perform their craft in peace, pass it on if they so wished, and be protected. Atlas would also welcome those who merely sought theoretical understanding rather than practical skill with the arcane arts, and its curriculum extended even to the much more mundane subjects of history, archaeology, and astronomy. Most of Noche's contemporaries would likely have viewed the idea as unreasonably ambitious, perhaps even out of reach in a world so freshly recovered from the calamities of unbound magic wrought by ancient civilizations most felt were better forgotten than more fully understood. That its scope, even aside from these complications, was too broad and ill-defined to provide any cohesion. Noche would not have agreed. In her mind, each of the subjects defined in her academy's name were so intrinsically connected that an education in one without an education in the others would be incomplete, and history shows that she was not alone in this perspective. Erected on the clifftops overlooking the fortress, the now world-renowned Atlas campus began as only 3 buildings: a tiered and towering pagoda to house the Academy's classrooms and magical laboratories, a domed observatory to watch the skies, and a paladin temple for followers of the Oath of Redemption. The official founding of Atlas is recognized as having taken place little over a year later, with the arrival of Rafael Ramirez, Miguel Bermudez, and the amenable remnants of the rebel Valuan Marine Corps and Arcanist regiments, encouraged by Noche to make the most of their second chance by helping her foster one small sanctuary wherein they could ensure that others would be sheltered from the hardships that had forged them. Rafael and his other paladins assumed their new roles as the Academy's protectors against those who might wish to do harm to those attending. Miguel was given charge of establishing the curriculum for aspiring wizards, which other members of the Arcanist regiment were tasked with teaching. Noche oversaw both, while herself studying alongside her own students in one final, and finally successful, attempt at unlocking the secrets of wizardry for her own understanding. She gave equal credit to Miguel's patient tutoring and to Talon's remarkable foresight and generosity for providing her with the head start that she'd needed. Though Noche truly cherished the environment of learning she'd created, its formation had been an arduous process, nigh on a decade in the making, and Serephina had been unimaginably patient throughout it. So, after a few short years, confident in her companion's ability to maintain its function without her continued observation, Noche stepped away from Atlas, remaining nominally its headmistress while appointing Miguel acting headmaster in her absence, allowing Noche to accompany her beloved in her ongoing adventures at long, long last. Noche would continue to look in on Atlas whenever she and Serephina returned to Fort Halifax, which they did often with new students, paladins, and discoveries from their latest travels. When time allowed it, she would even sometimes still teach, commandeering the history class that had once been hers to deliver one of her famously energetic lectures. But from this point on to the end of her years, Noche only considered her wife's ship as her home. History does not state where or when Lu Noche died, what she might have been doing when she did, or her final words, but her academy still survives her, and her vision still shines through it here and there in glimmers. Set into the floor of the school's center courtyard, a meeting place for visitors and pupils alike, where all people's paths converge, lies enshrined an emblem not unlike the symbols of Arcadia's 6 moons, inlaid with black crystal. Around it, in her own words, an inscription reads, "No discovery is not worth the effort that it took to make it. From the fantastic to the mundane, all knowledge is of value, especially when the answers that you reach are unexpected."
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So beautiful.
You know, that oddly still stays in line with everything else that's been said.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Why did I put the one I have to read last?
It makes so much sense,
perfect.
though.
It makes
It
sense.
really ties everything together.
Flissa's further adventures could qualify for a separate history unto itself, and keep an eye open for that book in the future. The Sylvite traveled to Valois after the conflict, applying her magic to aid the reconstruction. Once the immediate concern passed, she would rejoin her crew again for 2 expeditions to the land of the Purple Moon in search of their lost comrade, Gloria. Though ultimately failures, it did allow her some more relaxed time with Monty, time that would see the two married in the following years.
Yeah!
Hardly
You couldn't hear that I was on mute?
Hardly content to settle down in a world she was just beginning to see, Flissa traveled across the world, helping those in need, but always making time to rejoin her friends and newfound family.
See, we needed to end on that after the last 2.
Yeah, we did. Nice wholesome one.
I gotta ask though, did they ever have any children?
That's a story for.
That's in the book.
That's it.
That's in Renard's book.
That's in one of Leonard's books.
Yeah.
In order to find out this information, please send $50 to Scholastic Books for the
Yeah.
next installment.
What does Renard have to say about ASMR anatomy?
Oh no.
That's one lesson I would like to not go to. Thank you.
Sparks, do you have any words?
And the music ended at a good time, too.
I never got any music for any of this. I am
Aw.
so sad.
It's in the recording.
Stupid computer.
Oh wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, Jeff, finish us
Yeah,
off.
Jeff, go on.
Trying to find the music. I can't now.
Oh, I love this so much.
So ends my account of the voyages of the Cormorant, Goldenrun, Bombabe, their crew, and the Sylvite they befriended. While I can only claim to be present for a small portion of these events, the remainder has been detailed through logbooks, journals, reports, articles, and interviews beyond counting with those who witnessed them firsthand. This historical accounting is dedicated to the many who strive to sail beyond the sunset in search of knowledge, treasures, and perhaps a better world. Sierra the Scarlet, lead historian of the Circle Tower, May 19, 1952.
She's still alive then?
She's an old lady.
Oh man.
She's not so scarlet.
Probably an elf.
Ugh. It's been 2 years, you guys.
Oh man.
And if you look over on
Oh
roll
my
20,
god, no.
What?
over on roll
Color
20,
photo.
I'm not on roll 20. What is it?
It's a
Color
color.
photo.
It's a semi-colored thing of like all of our characters.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
Oh
not
my
semi-colored.
God.
It's fully colored. It's just sepia.
Yeah, I more meant like
I'm
sepia
assuming-
colored.
I'm assuming you put the sepia one up because I can't see it.
I'm on
The same one from last week?
Yeah, it's the same one. I just finished it. There's a couple new
Dude,
additions.
give me a
Nice.
moment.
Oh my god!
Here, I just posted it in Discord, dude.
Thank you.
Aw.
Okay.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It flicks again.
It's
I'm
like
just gonna open it
it's like
up on my
someone
freaking
legit
tablet.
took a photo.
That's what it's meant to look like.
There's
I
no-
know, and it's so good.
There's now a handout that'll stay up on the site as well. That'll have links to the playlist of the recordings, links to Luna's picture, both in the full color and sepia version, and the epilogue page.
A reminder to Luna that you still have a few episodes, I think. 1 or 2.
I think I only have one.
1? Okay,
I
then we're missing like
I
2
can't get them
episodes.
up. I've been trying. I'll try again. It took me literally 4 hours to get a 15-minute
I'm
video to
sorry.
go up. So, I
Uh,
think that went through.
I'm missing 1 or 2 episodes apparently. I thought you guys had recorded your Warlock session, but Luna should also have the Purple Moon episode.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
look
be
it up.
back.
You'll notice the couple of additions that I added to this are that now Talon's portal is actually a portal. It's colored. And there's so wanted posters on the
I
left.
saw that.
The wanted posters are nice.
And the link I just posted, if anyone is interested, is the speed paint of the entire image.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
You
Hey.
can mute it. I decided to put the weird Apple music that came from my iPad on it. But you can seriously mute it because it's a little bit loud and obnoxious. But I didn't want it to be silent, so you have the option.
Where is this link?
I just posted it. I hope it went through. It's in the Discord chat.
I don't see
We haven't
it.
seen it yet.
I will restart my computer in like 5 seconds here, and then I will resend it because my computer
Alright.
won't send anything. Be right back. Don't say anything we're gonna miss.
But it's so good. I had the two things side by side, the original black and white picture of all of us on the left and the Google Doc on the right, and was just scrolling through the Google Doc. Ending on this, I just have it as a full screen. And I'm so happy.
Oh, you guys.
Thanks again, everybody, for sticking with me for 2 years.
Thank you, Jeff, for doing it for 2 years.
I'm gonna be prattle on about a Dreamcast game I played this one time.
This one time.
Also,
Jeff's
thank
only
you very
played
much
once.
to Ryan for recording these sessions.
Oh yeah.
Hey, no problem. I've got the space, even though I am continuously running out of space. But they're on YouTube now, so I can delete them from my computer.
That means I'll need to download them from YouTube.
Yeah. You'll need to download them from YouTube, but I just don't have the space in my hard drive for
Yeah.
it. Well, let me put it like this. All this stuff, I think at the moment, equals out to around 150 gigabytes for me.
Yikes.
Wow.
If I kept all of the sessions that we did from start to finish when we started recording, I would probably have a full hard drive.
We should invest in a group hard drive for all of our games.
I'm not gonna lie, I could do that, but I don't have the original files saved anymore. I've had to delete as I go because I just don't have space to dedicate.
If we actually do that at any point, we can all just pull them back down off of YouTube.
Yeah. What I might do at some point is maybe buy an SSD or something, like a cheap SSD. See how much one episode of this equals out to in gigabytes, like the longest episode, and then kind of judge from there, and then buy an SSD and then download them all to it, because an SSD will last for a fucking long time.
You know it's weird? Huh.
What?
Am I actually on the call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's weird because I can
No.
hear me. Or I can. Of course I can hear me. I'm talking.
Do you mean on Discord?
Yeah, it's not showing up green for me. It doesn't show that I'm connected. And I was on that the entire time. I wasn't actually logged into Discord, so...
Discord, if you restart your computer, Discord keeps you signed into the call, unless you're gone for a specific amount of times. Yeah, it just, it keeps you logged in until a specific amount of time, because it assumes you'll return to the call, which is why when you...
No, I mean, I know that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Discord itself, I had to log in with my username and password, but I could still hear you guys talking.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the speed paint of the doodle. It doesn't have the sepia version because I did that with a different program. But it has, from start to finish, the madness that was this picture.
I'm excited to look into that.
If we... Oh, that's not right. Excuse me?
I'm gonna miss this cast of characters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss this campaign, man. This was so much fun, and this was... I'm so happy that I was able to play through this campaign with all of you.
Yeah.
From meeting Jeff and X in those other 2 games with people that we ended up losing, from like those first little weird sessions to the Paladin Rogue thing with me and Jeff, and the Barbarian Ranger with X. All leading up to this, I'm just so happy that I was able to meet you guys in general in that one game where I joined like a level late, and I'm so happy I was able to find you guys and find this entire group through it, because you're all just so fun to play with, and I'm so happy to have ever even gotten the chance to find a group that I just love to play with, just outright, just right out of the gate.
Yeah, this is the best gaming group I've ever had, so I'm with you there.
At this point, I would like to say thank you, X, for getting me a spot in here. Without you, I'd still be sitting at home going, I miss my D&D group because they disbanded.
Thank you, Magnus, for joining when dude couldn't one night and then becoming a party member afterwards.
That was almost my permanent leaving from the group. I almost never came back from that.
Really?
And I'm so glad I did.
Oh my god, no.
I kind of recruited Magnus with the assumption that dude wasn't coming back.
Wait,
oh my god.
Was it something really private you don't want to talk about, or what was the reason? Like, if it's something private, don't say it, but...
I mean, it's not super private. I put a thing in Discord.
I don't remember
but it wasn't eventful. It was just kind of mundane. This is what I'm going to focus on now, so I should stop spending all my weekends playing D&D. But then that didn't work out, so it was like, sweet, more D&D.
Okay.
So going way back, the first game that we all met in was Jade's game, which was Vault of the Watchers.
I don't even remember. I applaud you for remembering the name. I don't remember the name.
I have the notes.
Oh really? I played that game for only like 2 or 3 weeks with you guys, and that was my first ever character. And I'm still ashamed of how I handled that character.
And you got in.
Character sheet, and then the game got deleted, so I know nothing about that game.
And you got in because there was a player named Ross and a player named Josh that left the game like on the second session.
Right.
Really?
And
I didn't know that.
Because they bailed out, you got brought in along with Collie.
Yeah, I remember applying for the game on Roll20, and I shoved out my sorcerer/warlock idea, kind of. Although she was only a sorcerer at the time. And I remember feeling so lucky that Jade even, like, picked me for the thing, because I had never played a game before that game.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording. I'm just letting all this emotional shit air out. Like, listen, if we're gonna have this, then I'm fine with it being an emotional little recounting and nostalgia trip.
Everyone who... Go ahead.
Do we want me to stop recording?
No.
I mean, you're starting to tell personal stories about other people. I don't know.
I haven't said anything negative about the other people.
That Josh guy was just the hugest jerk.
You know, I'd be
Hey,
willing
leave
to
my
bet
brother
that
alone.
Josh
All
doesn't
right,
remember
all right. I
Leave
He's
get
my
the
brother
one
alone,
viewer
you
that we've
mother-
had on these episodes,
I
and now
get-
he's crying.
I get the energy of us not wanting to say anything super personal while I'm recording, so I'm going to stop it.
Nope.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Thank you to
Goodbye,
anyone.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you to anyone who has
I mean,
bothered watching
thank you,
these
poor
videos.
souls.
I'm for sure gonna watch this one again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Thank you.
several
Yeah.
of the last ones again, probably.
Thank you to anyone
Dry
who's
your
not
eyes,
in...
listeners.
Thank you to any
Bye,
listener
future
who's just not in this D&D group, who's just randomly watching this like years down the line after it's already completed.
It made
And-
sense
Our
at the
goal is
time.
to uncover this in the YouTube archives.
I
Don't
assure
you
you, we are all sane and...
No, we're not.
No, that's not
Okay.
true.
Let's be honest.
I don't make
Listen,
that claim.
I can wish. I can wish I was sane. And that's the story of Eternal Arcadia. And
That's a wrap.
we will return with Oops All Warlocks.
Party hardy.
Maybe
Are we gonna
Barty
do Barty
Hardy.
Hardy?
Maybe Barty Hardy if your DM is like okay with being recorded, because I'll definitely record that.
I think he is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have some recordings of our game from that he's in.
Okay, then I'll make him aware of it on at least day of. And, listen, I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget.
Goodbye.
And
Goodbye.
we'll have my campaign Uno Rid, X's Oops All Warlocks. We'll have probably Dude's vampire game if everyone's cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
That will not be recorded.
That won't be recorded? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, then never mind. We
It's
won't
probably
have
for the
vampire
best.
games.
The project has been canceled. No.
Oh my god.
We can't do this. It's scrapped. It's all scrapped.
You're not allowed to cancel the vampire game.
Get those cameras out of here.
Story already.
And we'll probably have Magnus's Valinor campaign up if Magnus is working
Heck
on that.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, I'm looking forward to get back to Scream Kome. I don't know if Jeff is still playing her, and Sweet Pea. Did I say Sweet Pea
Yeah.
twice? Yeah, I don't know.
The most
Anyway,
important character.
bye.
Hey, goodbye.
Bye,
Okay, love you,
YouTube.
bye.
That was an hour and 30 minutes.